Hello, Leo, and welcome to your timeless reading. Whenever you find this, it's for you. It's the first Leo reading I'm doing in my first ever series on YouTube. So if you would like to like the video, please do. Please subscribe. It helps me to get more facilities here on YouTube. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, it's Shasha_Crow on Instagram. My business is called Shasha Rishi, and let's consult the Oracle. So Leo, beloved Leo, you crazy cats, how are you doing? Let's find out which deck wants to read for you today. Oh, I feel that quite strong. No. It is the Dreamy Moons, given to me by a fire sign. Let's knock it. So this is a collective reading, so not everything is going to resonate for every single Leo. So take what works for you and leave the rest for someone else. I hope this will bring you some much needed guidance at this time. And if you're watching just out of idle curiosity, I hope that some insight will come through for you anyway from Spirit that brings you some confirmation or reassurance regardless. It's not a reading that is going to be on any particular area of life, although certain areas may suggest themselves. It is going to be a traditional Celtic cross, and it will be a general reading for the sign of Leo. The Leo fight already coming through. You are my last sign that I'm reading for. I shall try not to leave you to the end next time. I'll try and make it a little bit different in terms of the order next time I read. It's hard to pull these two. We've got hopes and fears and outcome. And I think this one on the bottom wanted to come as well. Oh, interesting. Okay, Leo. So the center of your spread is the Six of Cups, and it's in reverse. So the Six of Cups is a very kind of karmic card of equal exchange and love, and there's a kind of nostalgia inherent in it as well. It's this kind of sense of, you know, remembering a childhood or remembering a former life. What is it that you're harking back to, Leo? What is it that you're harking back to? I did a little prayer before I began this reading, so I haven't out loud said spirit guides, ancestors, angels, what are the messages for Leo. So I'm just going to put that out there now so you know that I have called the guidance in. And it feels really strong, the energy. So I'm just going to slow myself right down. I've been on a bit of a roll here doing these readings and feeling a lot of energy, but there's a sense that this needs to slow down. So maybe there's something for you that needs to slow down, Leo. What are you rushing into, or what are you rushing out of? There is a karmic energy here in the Six of Cups. It's Six of Cups in reverse. We're going to need to find out if this is an energy we're moving away from. But the other cards around are going to give us a hint as to what all of this means, because crossing it, we have the 7 of Wands. You have the need to hold your ground. Maybe this is in a work position, or maybe in a relationship. Maybe you need to say, hang on, right now, I'm not budging. Like, I'm not budging on this. You will not push me back. This is really, really strong, Leo. It's not so much a particular feeling or emotion, but an intense spiritual energy that there's a really strong message that wants to come through for you. So in the overriding energy, we have the Devil. And the Devil is a card of bad habits, basically. Sometimes addiction, sometimes negative spirals or cycles. So patterns of behavior maybe that you have been indulging. There's something coming up for you around that now. Something from the past maybe. We are in a Mercury retrograde as I make this reading, although it is a timeless reading. Whenever it comes to you is the right time. It's such a strong energy of karma. I'm getting some messages through from spirit spontaneously, not necessarily related to the cards, but you are clearing some significant karma at this time right now. So you will know by reflecting on yourself and your life path and the choices that you've made in life, what karma this is. Is it an addiction of some kind? Is it a way of behaving or treating others or treating yourself that is not healthy? Is it the way that you conduct your relationships? There are so many possibilities. That's something that you are going to have to zoom in on yourself. But you need to hold your ground in some kind of, I do feel the 6 of Cups. They're 2 children together. It's almost like there are 2 inner childs in a relationship together, because we have the Hierophant in the recent past or the near past. And that could mean anything from 2 weeks to 2 years or more. But in the past, moving into the past, we've got this Hierophant card. And the Hierophant card is a card of spiritual discipline. It's a card of also institutions like marriage. We could have marriage, we could have divorce. Maybe you got divorced, or maybe you got married. One of these things is what I'm feeling, because we've got this kind of karmic energy of a relationship in the center. Someone from a past life. Is this that you have met someone from a past life and it's kind of bringing up some negative thoughts or past behaviors or the things that always used to tempt you, and it's potentially threatening this marriage, so you need to stand your ground? That kind of sounds like quite a plausible option. And I think that will be true for some of you, not necessarily all of you. About 50% is what I'm getting. And then the underlying energy is the 5 of Cups. So perhaps you have a tendency to, maybe you see the glass half empty more than you see the glass half full. So what have you gived? Sorry about my grammar. What have you given up to be in this marriage? And why are you so nostalgic about the good old days? That's the phrase that comes into my mind. What is it that you feel you've lost when you've actually gained this bond, this 2 of Cups, this beautiful union with another? Or is it that you feel that the bond that you had, or the union that you had, is in fact not quite what you thought it was going to be? No, I don't think that's it. I think you're in a bond now, but there are some old temptations coming up that could, you see it as threaten your position as a person who is committed to a relationship or situation, because you feel quite nostalgic about the past. And you're going to get nostalgic about the past in a Mercury retrograde, if indeed you are watching this when the Mercury retrograde is occurring. It's very soon going to end. We will have the shadow period, but hang on in there if what I'm saying is true for you, because you don't want to be making any reckless decisions. And we've got the Three of Wands in the near future. We've got the Three of Wands in reverse, which to me suggests that you're perhaps not getting back what you had invested in something. So either that, or you need to go back to the drawing board. And that might be some kind of therapy. That might be some kind of, addiction program. Three of Wands in reverse. Looking out for what is coming in for you. Really wanting to receive, love, money, good work opportunities. But actually you're being held at the moment in this portal of stuff that needs clearing up. Yeah, it's really strong. I feel that there's such a lot of compassion for you from Spirit. This is not an easy position to be in, and you may feel like the struggle never ends, like you think you're on top of it, and then it comes around again and you have to fight to keep yourself, on the wagon, or in the position that you have formed for yourself. Maybe the Hierophant for some of you is, I feel for some of you it is almost like a dedication to a spiritual path, but you've got to a point where you're like, oh yeah, but I used to like going out and partying, so I'd really quite like to just go back and do that again. But at the same time, you want to hold your ground. You're like, no. What I lost is nothing to what I now have. This is interesting. Was it Scorpio? I had in the self card, in the Scorpio reading, I had the self card as Five of Wands in reverse, and I think it was in this very deck actually. So some resonance with Scorpio and Leo at this time in this group of readings. And Five of Wands in reverse is about competition, collaboration. In reverse, I would say it's definitely a competition card. So who do you feel you're in competition with? Or are there parts of you that are competing with each other, making this whole process really, really challenging? Are you the social guy? And I'm not saying you're a guy. Gender is non-specific here. Are you the socialite? Or are you also the kind of the hermit, like you need time on your own, but you also crave the presence of other people, like the what's the word? The validation that you get from being amongst people. And I'm not saying that as a criticism, because validation can be really positive. It just helps us strengthen our new roots that we're putting down. But what's the conflict here? What two parts of you are vying for attention? Or what people in your life are vying for your attention? What's the competition around you or within you? And in the environment card, we have the Knight of Cups. So it looks as though there's an offer of love coming through for you. Given everything that I've just read, it's not necessarily something that you're going to want to go for unless it's a renewed offer of love from your existing partner. Or is it an offer of friendship, or an offer of fulfillment within some context? But it is in the environmental area, so it could be within the home, certainly if that's from an existing partner, or the people you live with, or a work environment or a social environment. So where is that offer of loving support coming from? That's how I'm feeling it, as loving support. Who is offering you that loving support? And there's a lot of flow there with it being the Knight of Cups. I really feel the need to take a lot of pauses in this reading because I feel like the situation is incredibly sensitive. And you may be feeling incredibly sensitive. Leo, I know Leos are sensitive people. Leos are sensitive people. They may not appear so on the outside. They're usually very confident, outwardly social, charming, energetic. But I know you're sensitive, and this Knight of Cups is kind of giving me that vibe. So in the hopes and fears position here, we have the Eight of Crystals, which is kind of quite a fearful card anyway. When it's in the upright position, we've got this this feeling of being trapped in a situation. And that makes a lot of sense, given the other cards in the spread, that you may have this feeling of, oh no, I'm going back to the old ways. Oh no, I can't actually resist. I'm trying to hold my ground, but the temptation is so great because there's something in my heart or something internal that makes me feel like I'm trapped. And that might be, some of the shadow work, some of the inner work that you need to do. We'll pull another couple of cards on that. But in the Eight of Crystals, there is inherently an escape route. You do have the power. I want to say that like He-Man. If you're old enough to remember He-Man, I have the power. I have the power, holding the sword aloft. And these are 8 swords. So you can take any one of those swords. You can shake off the bonds, remove the blindfold and say, I have the power to move through this forest of swords and be triumphant. And then in the outcome, we've got the Queen of Stars in reverse. And we've got the Hanged Man, which is a very interesting outcome. There may be an earth sign in your experience who is being a little bit pig-headed, being a little bit stubborn, maybe not giving on their side of the relationship what you feel you need from them. And what you're wanting is something more nurturing, and you're wanting some kind of support, whether financial or emotional or even, physical affection, something like this, if that's the appropriate status that person holds in your life. But there is a Hanged Man beside her. And the Hanged Man is all about making a sacrifice to gain greater wisdom or to gain some kind of spiritual gift. And if the Hangman is in reverse, there is a little bit of a waiting game going on. But it seems like there's still something you need to give in order for this queen to feel safe flipping over. And gender, again, is not important here, but it's someone with some authority, but somewhat grumpy. That's what I'm getting. The impression is that they're quite grumpy right now. And you really want their support, but they're making you sacrifice things in order to, or demanding that you sacrifice things in order to give you what you are asking for. And maybe you're asking for a lot. If you're going through something, it may be one of those situations where you are a little bit asking for more than at this time you can give back. But I would say don't overly sacrifice. But there may be a compromise needed. Okay, let's clarify some things. We want to stick with the dreamy moons. So 8 of crystals. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of energy of worry and frustration and fear and kind of even night terrors coming through over this 8 of crystals. You are overthinking it. You are thinking yourself into a little bit of a pit. And then we've got the flower of life in reverse. It's possible that everything that you've been through up to this point has given you a skewed view of how the pattern of life flows. And the flower of life is an absolutely beautiful card that only exists in this deck as far as I'm aware. It's sacred geometry, and it is a reference to the sacred pattern of the universe and the planets, and how energy flows from one place to another. Within the flower of life is held the tree of life, and the tree of life is the way that we manifest things from unmanifest into physical manifestation. So from, from a vision to an actual physical reality. And I feel like at the moment within yourself, you are blinded to the true pattern. And maybe something like, I'm just going to say, and this is obviously a practice that I do, so I am going to be more, oh look, we've also got the flower of life here. This is the flower of life. And it's selenite, very cleansing. It's got an aquamarine on the top, which is a water related crystal, but also a little bit third eye, a little bit communication. So I do think there's a deeper spiritual, we've got the Hierophant at the very beginning here. There's a deeper spiritual quest that you can go on. Many of the answers that you're looking for, you're going to find within yourself. And I know that sounds like a little bit of a cop-out, but we've got the Hanged Man here as well. Make some kind of a sacrifice. And maybe that sacrifice is, okay, use some of your time that you're currently using on looking at your phone or going out with your mates. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because there definitely isn't. Use some of that time to cultivate a practice of meditation. Go to a meditation class, start an online course, even just look up some videos on YouTube, because you need to, and this is obviously my perspective, my lens, so please run this through your own intuition and your own guidance before making any decisions. But I feel it would be very beneficial for you to develop the ability to step outside of your anxious thoughts and experience some kind of peace, and all of the puzzle pieces will then drop into place a little bit more easily as you start to understand the way the fabric of the universe works. That's very esoteric, but I hope that you can glean something from that. If you are watching a tarot reading, I think you have some level of interest in your intuition and your guidance. So there is energy coming through here for you. You just have to be receptive to it. Yeah, the Magician. So you do have the power. You may feel disempowered at this time for some reason or another, but that is not the case. That is not the case. You have the power to put in all the elements that you need, including determination, including self-discipline, but also vision, also emotional kind of kindness and clarity, all of these things. So don't doubt yourself. Just make an assumption, even if you're not feeling it right now, make an assumption that you yourself have the power. There it is again. It is even holding up a wand, I have the power. Sorry about the singing. He-Man. That was this reading, right? I've actually forgotten if that was this reading. Yeah, it was the Eight of Crystals. You do have the power. You have the power to make the changes you need to. You have the power to put in place the things that you need to move forwards, to release these negative habits, addictions, behavioral patterns for good, and nurture the things, and maybe the people, if the Queen of Stars represents someone, not you, but someone in your life, to a greater degree, so that this Six of Cups, this kind of giving, receiving imbalance, this kind of nurturing space can return. So if you're not experiencing, if you're wanting to experience something from the past, but you're not nurturing what you've got in the present to the best of your ability, and with the hopefully collaboration of others, not competition, not being in competition with others, then you can't expect a garden to bloom if you're not watering it. So put aside thoughts of what was so great in the past, and instead focus on how you nurture the seeds that you're growing in the present. And it may take time for them to bloom, but you will get there. Okay, Leo, I'm really grateful for you being here. I hope this reading has given you some insight that's valuable to you. Please do come back, subscribe, and even hit the notification bell if you want to know when I post new readings. Follow me on Instagram, and I will see you at the next reading.